So the two books I picked out were just ones I saw, and I thought they looked cool. So the first is a book on Studio Ghibli. It's on grief and Studio Ghibli. I'm a huge Studio Ghibli fan. I've seen almost all of the Ghibli movies, and I have a Spirited Away tattoo. And yeah, my grandpa used to take me to go see Ghibli films at the Toronto Film Festival. And it's just always stuck with me. And I also really like pop culture analysis, so I was like, this one looks cool. And the second is a book on sharks, because I love sharks. They are my favorite animal, and I hyperfixated on them as a kid, and I think I did maybe 5 different school projects on sharks. Didn't matter what subject, I'd find a way to make it about sharks. English, science, French, didn't matter. So there's my 2 books. And then I picked out 5 records. So just going from the top, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. It's just like the perfect pop album. I love it so much. I've been listening to it constantly. It's got a little bit of Ariana Grande reference, a little bit of that kind of 2000s, almost boy band vibe, but then you have a song that has a bit of a Joni Mitchell influence as well. There's lots of cool stuff going on here, and her voice is just so amazing, and she's just so beautiful, and I love her. And then I have I can never remember the name of this album, but the Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. I love Chappell Roan. I've been listening to her for years, and it's so cool that she's blown up. I have this really distinct memory. I think I had listened to a couple of her songs before Pink Pony Club came out, and I had liked them, but I just have this really distinct memory of having, I think maybe it was Discover Weekly on Shuffle, and Pink Pony Club came on, and I just was doing the dishes, and I just had to stop doing the dishes and listen to the song, because it was so amazing. And yeah, I'm her biggest fan. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. I just love her so much. My third record is this Ethiopian jazz record. I loved Ethiopian food as a kid. It was the only thing I ever wanted to eat, to the point that there was this one Ethiopian restaurant, and they knew me by name, and I remember we went in there on my birthday, and they bought me a birthday cake because I just ate so much Ethiopian food. And so yeah, I kind of just got into Ethiopian jazz because I spent so much time at this restaurant that would play it, and I love it, and it's just the perfect kind of mellow background music. I'm not even that big of a jazz fan in general, but Ethiopian jazz specifically I really love. Yeah. And then my last 2 records are ones I'm very excited about. I have Jawbox. I love Jawbox. I'm not sure how I discovered Jawbox. It might have actually been through the next band that I'll talk about. But I absolutely love Savory by Jawbox. I'm pretty sure it's a song that the Deftones do a cover of, and I think they made it bigger, but I really like the original. Yeah, just big fan of them. I love some good 90s, alternative and punk. I get told that my music is very 90s a lot of the time, and this might be why. Even though my music doesn't sound anything like Jawbox, I definitely think I'm influenced by a lot of these kinds of bands. And then the last album that I'm excited about, I've been looking for this album in many different record stores, so I'm happy to have finally found it, is Tin Cans with Strings to You by Far. I absolutely love Far. They're just one of my favorite bands. I mean, they're obviously super influential in their genre, but I think that they should have been way bigger commercially than they were. I found out about Far through Buffy, which is where I found out about a lot of the 90s music that I listened to. I was really into Buffy as a kid, and I would just go through the soundtrack and just find out different bands and songs from the soundtrack, especially because they have this really cool thing in the show where there's this club in the show called the Bronze, and they would have real bands play like on the stage during the show, and I thought that was always really cool. There's a lot of really cool bands that played it. I can't think of that many off the top of my head, but I know Chibo Mato played, which was really cool, and like lots of kind of stuff in that vibe. But yeah, there's just this one episode, and it's an awful episode of Buffy. It's an episode in, I think, the first season where Xander becomes a hyena, but in human form. Awful premise for an episode, but there's just this one scene and this one shot where him and the other hyena kids are like walking in slow-mo, and it's so cheesy, but the song playing over it is Job's Eyes by Far, and I just got so obsessed with the song, and I had to go into like a 2-hour deep dive online trying to figure out what band it was, and it was Far, and I love them. And yeah, those are my picks.